Hello and welcome. This is the second video of an intuitive introduction to statistics series. In the first video, I provided a high level overview of what statistics is and why it is needed. Now, in this video, I will discuss two foundational concepts, namely data and variables. But before we define or discuss what these concepts are, let's first consider a scenario. So, here is the scenario. The head of a department at a university has to take decisions such as how many scholarships she should arrange and what type of backgrounds the teachers should have. To make these decisions, and recall that in the first video we discussed that statistics helps in making decisions. So to make these decisions, she needs background information on students. So what she does is that she asks students to write a few lines about themselves. So this is what she gets. Student A writes, my name is Ahmed, I am 19 years old. I graduated from a public high school in Karachi. I am the first in my family to attend university. I come from a middle income family. My favorite subjects are math and physics, and I hope to get a scholarship because it would help me focus more on my studies. And student B writes, my name is Fatima. I just turned 18 and I'm really excited to start university. I went to a private school in Lahore. My parents are both teachers. I love biology and chemistry and I have always been a straight A student. I don't think I will need a scholarship, but I'm interested in work study opportunities. Similarly, the student C writes something about herself. Now, when you look at these description, you will see some issues. Let's see what those issues are. So the first issue is not all descriptions have the same information. For example, the first and the third student provided information about their economic backgrounds, but the second student did not. The second issue is that the order of information is not same in all descriptions. One student might write about the economic background in the first sentence, and another student might write the same information in the last sentence. So, which makes comparison really difficult. Third, the descriptions are rather long, and suppose you have 50 students in a class. If you start reading these description, it will become really hard for you to process information. And when you are reading the 50th description, you will probably have forgotten the first description. So these are some of the issues involved in getting information in an essay form. So, what is the solution? Solution is first decide what information you need and then ask students to supply only the required information. Let's see how that is done. For example, we decide that in our context, what we need is the name, gender, age, city, previous degree marks, entry test marks, number of siblings, income level, and IQ scores. Now recall that the purpose of getting this information is knowing more about the backgrounds of the students so that we can make some decisions which depend on the backgrounds of students. For example, what kind of teachers should we assign to teach them and how many scholarships we should be trying to arrange. So these are the pieces of information which are helpful in this regard because they are about the background, educational, economic background of the students. Any other information is not relevant to us. For example, it is really not relevant to us with what is the color of eye colors of the students or hair colors of the students or uh, names of their villages or their street addresses, because all we need is the city. So we cut out the unnecessary and information which is not required, and we decide that these are the things about which we need information, and then we ask students to supply us only those pieces of information. So now we collect data in this form. Now if you look at this, this is much more organized. The same information is you can see the same information side by side. For example, if you want to see the gender of a certain student, you will just see it here because all are written in one column. Similarly, if you want information about the IQ scores, it is written here. So that issue has been resolved, that one student supplies one piece of information at in the beginning and another supplies the same piece of information at the end of the essay. So all many of those, almost all of those issues have been resolved by taking this approach towards collection of information. So now let's take a closer look at what this thing is. So this organized form, these rows represent what we call a case. So every student in this example is a case. For example, this first student is a case, and this fifth student is a case, second student is a different case, third student is a different case. So every student is a case. Secondly, these things, these pieces of information that we have collected, for example, the information about the cities students are from, are called variables. Number of siblings, variables. And why we call these variables? Because their value can vary from one case to another case. Number of siblings for one student can be different from number of siblings in case of another student. So this is a variable. This is something that can have different values in different cases. Okay. However, it is important to note that this is something that can vary, which it is not necessary for it to vary in every case. For example, two or more students could have can have the same city, but this is something which has the ability to vary from one case to another case. So this is called a variable. And these values for variables, male, female, 20, 19, 84, low, high, 1, 3, these info, these values which are there in the cells of this table are called data. So all of these things are 20, Faisalabad, 88, 86, 82, 2, middle, 120. These are the data points. Okay. So now let's formally define all these concepts. So a case is an object or individual of interest. Each student is a case. Now this is important to note that a case is not always an individual. If you are getting information about some objects, for example, if you are, say, measuring the length and weight of some iron bars. Those iron bars are your cases, and length and their weight are variables. So a variable, a characteristic or attribute of interest that can take different values across different cases or different times. Okay. Variable is something which has a different value in every, which can have a different value in every case. Okay. Or it is something that can have a different value at various points of time. For example, if a student is 20 years old, the same student will be 21 years old the next year. This is something which we call variable. And then data, information, or facts collected about cases with respect to each variable are called data. So data is actually plural, the singular of which is datum, but now data is also used as singular. Okay. So these are the cases, variables, and data. So thank you for watching the video. For more concepts, watch the next video. Thank you.